views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome, good people of the Bronx and beyond. My name is Henry Ovalles, and I'm your host for A Life in Art. On this show, we will bring you engaging and personal conversations with artists with whom you may not be familiar, people who have been working on their craft for at least a decade and are at a crossroads where passion meets necessity. We'll discuss creativity and inspiration with our guest artists, but also find out what it takes to balance the struggles of practical life while pursuing their passions. Our guest today is a talented comic who has played in comedy clubs all around New York and the country. He was featured on the popular show Adam Devine's House Party, and most recently he was a contestant on NBC's Last Comic Standing. Today we learn about Crystian Ramirez's life in art.
How you guys doing right here, man? It's a good group of young men. It's good, man. You got good, like y'all might get into like a gang. Manly. It's not the same for me. You look like y'all might box. I look like I might cry. Like that's the difference between. I got a very gay face, and I'm pro gay face, but it's just that I like girls, and girls don't like you when you have eyes like their little sister. So it's hard for me to get any type of in this town. I can't. I don't know if you guys noticed this, like when the light reflects off my eyes, I give off what you call a bitch twinkle, and it's a very strong twinkle. I can't. Like a Disney princess. It's horrible. Horrible, man. I gotta make up tough shit every day that's not tough about me. Like, I got long eyelashes, and that's not cool, that's not tough. And I gotta say tough shit in the mirror every day. I can be like, listen, Crystian, you might have long lashes like a bitch, but at least you're super protected against dust. Like, I gotta come up with dumb shit like that. Kind of shit.
And here we are in the studio with Crystian Ramirez. Crystian, thanks so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah.
So I'm actually not sure if we've met before. I think maybe, but now we're officially meeting, so nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, man.
Yeah. So I know your sister pretty well, Crystal, and we'll talk about her in a little bit. But let's actually just start at the beginning. I'm interested in knowing where you grew up, where were you born? And
Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn, and then I moved to Staten Island with my family.
Okay.
When I was like 17.
Oh, really? So Brooklyn is really where you spent your early childhood? And
yeah. I mean, my mom was actually living in the Bronx for a while, but I wasn't alive back then. That's when she did the,
right, when she
the
was
introductory, Latin person in the Bronx. I guess everybody has to do it.
Yes.
So she came over here.
It's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn is where you grew up, and that's where you went to, elementary school, high school?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that experience like in Brooklyn?
It was terrible. It was horrible. I like Brooklyn, but, I went to Dewey. I don't know if you know about John Dewey. It's a pretty bad school, but it's fun.
Bad but fun.
Yeah.
All right, I dig it. And Staten Island, then when you're 17, was that a bit of a culture shock? Even though you're in New York, Staten Island is sort of its own thing.
Yeah. It was worse than Brooklyn. It was pretty bad. It's its own world, like you said. Like if you're looking for like a slowed down pace, you go over there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where you're still living now in Staten Island. All right, but as far as the family that you grew up with, it's basically your older sister, your mom, and you. Is that right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what's the story? I'm assuming then that your parents aren't together, your mom and dad.
Well, they're Latinos, so they're not together.
Right.
You have different kids, different places, and.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now here's the thing, because I was seeing a bit that you did, that I found on YouTube, and this is the part when, as a responsible host and a Latino, I'm supposed to say, hey, you can't be saying that about Latinos. That's the way it is. But the truth is that's your reality, and there is sort of some pain in that, and that's where the comedy comes from. So that's very personal to you, and in comedy, and you correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the expert on this. In comedy, the more specific that you go, the more people can relate to it. Because I saw that bit that you did about, hey, my dad was just being Latino.
Oh, yeah.
And, I laughed, even though, there's a part of me that says, hey, no, you're a Latino comic, talking to white audiences. You're not supposed to be saying that to
Which
them.
I've gotten, reactions like that.
Yeah.
But, I haven't been proven wrong, really. Like, there's some people that's like, my parents are still together, and I get mad, Can I curse on the show?
Oh, we'll beep you out.
Oh, we'll beep you out. Okay. But you know, it's like a unicorn. It's hard, especially in New York. You know, my dad. I just see like a lot of people have the same story. So.
Right, so a lot of
I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's just
no, I get you, and that's your reality. I mean, it's like the whole thing of Bill Cosby, calling up Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and stuff, saying, "Oh, don't curse and don't say this and don't say that. You're supposed to." And now hindsight is 2020. We see who the real who the real moralists were or not. But I mean, that's your reality, and that's how it goes. Mm-hmm. So your group of friends, was it mostly Latino, Black also, or did you have
No, I wasn't really accepted by Latino because I don't speak Spanish. I can't like dance and do all that stuff. So it's like I had like Black and white friends mostly. Okay. That was the crew that accepted me.
Okay. So talk to me about when art comes into your life. Was it always comedy that touched you, or were you interested in other art forms before that?
I like drawing. That was the first thing. I wanted to be like a comic book artist, and then that didn't work out. So. I was watching Chris Rock. I was like, oh, let me try to do that.
So is that one of your main influences, Chris Rock?
Yeah, he's like in my top. He's like one of my top influences.
Which special of his do you remember? What the one that really turned the light on for you?
Bigger and Blacker.
Yeah.
That was the one that was like, wow, that was pretty. It was pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So I know your sister, I actually know well. We went to college together, Crystian Ramirez, and I cast her in a show that I directed, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So she's sort of into acting, and now she's gone sort of in the backstage technical theater life. So what do you think it is about the two of you that art has spoken to you? Was it something like with your mom or your dad, or?
Yeah, I think it was my mom, my dad. Like they made us do very cause Chris was they made us do like very gay musical theater stuff. So when we were little, we would sing a lot of Diana Ross, and so that was always in that stuff was always we were doing. We were singing songs and stuff. So I think she took it, directly into the Broadway world, because that's what she is now.
Yeah, yeah.
And Crystal, she's very ta-da, like she does that. So.
And would you describe yourself that way as well, or no?
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. I can't. I was gonna say no, nah, man, but nah, I don't.
That's my sister, not me. And what's your relationship with your parents like now? You live with your mom, so that's cool?
Yeah, I'm 25, so it's kind of like a losery thing. But but she's nice though. She looks out. She doesn't really give me a hard time.
Right, she hasn't kicked you out.
No, not yet.
Right.
So.
And do you have a relationship with your dad still?
Yeah, we're cool. He's in Rhode Island, but yeah, we have a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just waiting till it gets real deep. I don't want to start crying.
Yeah, I don't. No, we don't try to necessarily do that in that show. Okay. But we do want to sort of get to the core of you and how and how all that went. So as far as with your parents, as far as like they pushed you guys to sort of sing Diana Ross songs and do some musical theater stuff. What line of work were they in? Were they in, your mother and your father? My dad was a doorman, and my mom Well, she retired, but she worked as the social worker for welfare. Yeah, that's what she did. Wow, did she come in with a lot of stories about stuff that she would see at work?
Yeah, man. She said people would get into fights with her over like food stamps and all that stuff. A lot of people threatened her, but she, she's gangster, so she know how to handle it.
All right.
Yeah.
And how did you think that impacted you, like, having your mom be gangsta, as you say?
It was good, man. I didn't have to fight anybody. It was good. My mom protected all of us.
She would do the fighting for you?
Yeah, man. It was dope. It was dope, man. Like, I would just hide behind my mom. So everybody respected her in the projects. She was like the most respected person. So that was good to have.
Right, and that was in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that was in Brooklyn.
All right, so let's take a quick break, actually. When we come back, I want to start digging deeper into, your life as a stand-up, where you started, going that first time you got on stage and all of that.
Okay.
So we'll be right back with more about Crystian when we return.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today, I'm just an aluminum can, but one day, I could be a stadium.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic.
That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids.
We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone.
And every day more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education.
HSF.net.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, you know, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science, become the mayor or something, make the situation better for other people. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
Teachers today are finding new ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable.
Welcome back to A Life in Art. We're here with comedian Crystian Ramirez. So I actually want to start digging into you as a comic. Like, when was the first time you got on stage? You had talked about Chris Rock sort of influencing you. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, first time I got on stage, I was like 15.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was good. I went to this place called the Comic Strip. I did the open mic.
Okay.
And I just started doing it from there.
All
I was
right.
doing it off and on. It wasn't.
So, all right, so at 15 you started,
Yeah.
and what was it like that first time that you went to the open mic? Like, you just researched it on the internet, or a friend told you about it, or?
Yeah, I looked it up, and then I just went over there, and because they list all the mics in the city.
Yeah.
And I went to that one. It looked like a good fit.
Good one to start. And how was that first experience?
It wasn't that good.
Did you bomb?
Yeah. It was bad. But that was my first time. I still bomb today, so there's not really a difference. But it was more unprofessional bombing. Like, now I bomb like in a very professional way. So, but it was pretty bad.
Talk to me about the difference between bombing in a professional way. You just sort of are, working through material and seeing what works, as opposed to being a deer in headlights. Is that the difference, or?
Yeah, like when you first start off and you're bombing, it's very like, I don't know how to handle this. But when you bomb now, it's like, yeah, you try to talk to people, you try to get them involved, and you do crowd work and try to take yourself out of it.
I see. Right, and at that first time, you really didn't have those tools in your bag to take yourself out of it.
Nah, I was just saying racist stuff, and that's all I was doing.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. So that first time that you went out, were you there by yourself? Did you ask friends to come with you, family members?
Yeah, I think Crystal was there. I think, was my mom? I don't think my mom was there, but Crystal was definitely there. I think a couple of my friends were there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you weren't scared of that, and what was it that motivated you? Obviously, you felt that you liked, stand-up and you wanted to try it out. Was it somebody in your circle telling you, hey, you're funny, you should try this out, or were you sort of the class clown, or not really?
No.
No?
I wasn't any of those. Everybody has that story, but I wasn't any of those. Nobody was telling me I was funny. I just went to do it.
Well, that's great. That makes your story more unique, actually.
Yeah, but it's very illusory, It's nobody really respects that. Like, they question why you do it. And because I'm like a shy person, so it doesn't really like fit. They're like, why are you doing comedy? And I was like, I don't know. It looked fun. And that's really it. I'm sorry if I seem nervous, man. There's a lot of girls in here, and it's very, very weird.
Yes, we have a mostly female camera crew today.
Well, who's the creep that made that move? That's a very,
I wish I could take credit, but no, it's not me. It's actually our executive producer, Christina Pagan, who you're friends with.
She's the creep. Okay,
she calls the shots.
Yeah.
All right. So, and the reason I'm asking you, forgive me if I keep on, harking on the beginning of your comic career and sort of what got you up there, but it's all out of me trying to figure it out, because I think that comedy that's like the one art form, stand-up specifically, that I've always had my eye on, but haven't had the guts, to not use another word, to go out there and try it. So with you just had that confidence, even though you were shy. You said, nah, what do I have to lose? Let me try it out. Was that it?
Yeah, because it's like life is already sucky off stage, so it's like that could be the one place you could go with confidence and be like, all right, let me do this, let me say what I want, because I can't say what I want off stage. So.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, you should try it, man. It's a good release. It's
okay.
a good release. Yeah.
Maybe one day, we'll see.
Yeah.
You'll tell me about which places to go.
Yeah, I got you.
So you do that first time. It wasn't necessarily a good experience, but what was it about that time? Was there something that you felt on stage that you said, you got to try it again? Was it, I want to conquer next time, or just even though you bombed, there was a feeling that you got that made you want to keep on going?
Yeah, definitely a feeling, and I think it's with all the comics, you want to keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. Plus, it's like when you're out of school and you don't have a job, it's like might as well. What else are you doing? So
right,
might as well take on that.
Wait, so were you out of school already at that time at 15, or are you talking about later?
Well, I started 2 years before I graduated, so like
okay.
Most of my life after high school, I've been doing it.
Right.
Yeah. So.
So after that first place, did you keep on going back there, or were there other places then that you started looking in at other clubs, other open mics?
There was other places I started going to. Like there was a couple places in Brooklyn, some up here that
In
I
the
went
Bronx?
to. Yeah. And you know, the Bronx has a great comedy scene. Like they have places that are like not Dinosaur Barbecue. There's a barbecue place like off the highway. I forgot where. That this guy Joel Rodriguez, he runs it. Which I went there a couple years ago, and so so there's different places that you start to expand.
Right, then you've done it.
Yeah.
So then talk to me a little bit about your process as far as how you build your set. Like what do you have now? Do you 10-minute set, 15-minute set?
I feel like I got like a 30-minute set.
Okay.
Like of good stuff.
Right, and how did that start? Did you start out with like 2 minutes and build your way up, or how does it work?
Yeah, I started with 2 minutes, and then I started like branching off like that one joke and seeing like, talking about other things that connected to that.
Right, and expanding on
it. So like it started growing and growing.
Right. So what's happening sort of now? Would you say that you're featuring? Are you middling? Are you an opening act? Are you headlining some places?
I'm none of those things. Like I do clubs. I'm past at a club, but I'm not like opening for anybody. I'm just trying to get more time.
Right,
That's
and do
really
your thing.
Yeah. It's a very hard world, comedy. It's hard to get into, like in terms of like wanting to get on shows.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cliques, there's a lot of bad rooms, and but it's good. I want to sound like bleak and
No, I mean you're motivating me to do it. Let's see how
Yeah, I'm just trying to give you the real side. I don't want to go in there and
the real side is what
Yeah.
I'm interested in for
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
So talk to me about the difference from that first set where you said you just got up there and said racist stuff to sort of where you're moving towards now, and how you build on that. Did you start taking things from your own life? Did you start looking up to other comics that were influencing you and sort of mirroring off of them, or was it sort of your own unique process?
I started like mirroring. I think that's what I first started doing, and then I was like, let me just talk about myself, because I'm 18 at the time, 19. It's like, what I have to talk talk about my life. I can't just look. I know about the world and politics, because I don't. So,
Right.
yeah, I think
You weren't at that age thinking that you did know all that stuff, because a lot of 18-year-olds.
No, I definitely did. You have to let that go and just talk about your personal stuff, because that's what's gonna make you stand out. Like you said, I think you said the uniqueness is.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so let's actually get into that in our last segment. When we come back, I want to talk about Last Comic Standing, what that experience was like, and where you are now. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more from Crystian right after this break.
We finally bought a place.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
At the end of the month, we have nothing left to save. How is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day, more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net.
Enroll, we say. We want you to be okay. Enroll, we say. Take care, people, for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still
buy me treats. You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Information on hot water heating.
No. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out the words.
World music, playing track now.
No.
Let me try. Our daughter gets confused about which details in a story are important.
Which paper towels are most absorbent?
What?
Here are 5 product reviews.
Why are you not getting me?
See, I told you.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
So I was raised by my mom and my sister, and they were cool, they were awesome, but it sucked for me because any girl they did, I copied, thinking everybody did it, and there wasn't a man to tell me shit. Like, for example, I thought everybody wore towels from the chest down. Like, I know some people did. Apparently, you don't do that, you know? You don't no. I didn't know you're not supposed to wear a lamb with a towel with a matching head wrap with the aloe vera scent. I didn't know that.
And we're back on A Life in Art with Crystian Ramirez. So Crystian, I wanted to talk to you about, we sort of talked about you starting and making your way through, and one of the most recent things that you did, and possibly, the most high profile thing that you've done so far, is Last Comic Standing.
Yeah.
So talk to me about, the decision to go out for that and what that's done for you.
Well, my managers told me about it, and they said they had me do an audition. I did audition in New York, and then I passed that one. I did a second one, and they flew me out to California.
Right, it's in LA that they shoot?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was.
Right. So I didn't realize that you had a manager actually before then. How did that come about?
I was just doing this show called Fat Baby that was on Essex and Remington. These guys, Julio, Jeffrey, Katzman, they run it. And I just started knowing people through there, and then just through going up on that show, I got my managers.
Right, so just networking. So yeah, I think, what you're talking about, I think is really important for all artists, that you just have to sort of stay in the game and keep on doing it and doing it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you definitely have to network. It's a horrible thing, but it's what you have to do. I'm not a social person, so it's super hard for me, especially with networking in comedy, because there's a lot of drugs, there's a lot of liquor, there's a lot of people making weird decisions in bathrooms, but it's something that you got to deal with when you just want to go home. But it's absolutely necessary.
Right.
And you know that, because even in acting,
yeah, for sure. And I actually have to empathize with you there, because I'm not the networking guy either.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. If you want to, first of all, you always have to be working. But if you want people to come see your show, you have to go see their show, and you got to talk to everybody. And that's tough. And for me specifically now, I have a family. I have a couple of young kids now, which is sort of recent in my life. So it's a little bit harder. So my bedtime is 10 p.m. With you in the comic world, at what time are you getting home and hitting the pillow?
5 a.m.
Right.
4 to 5 a.m.
And at what time does it start? At what time are you hitting the clubs?
8.
8,
yeah, usually.
So from 8 and you're there on stage, so what, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock?
Well, it's usually sometimes it's trying to find a show.
Right.
And that could take 3 hours.
Really?
Because if you're not booked, you're hey, can I get up? Hey, can I get up? And then you're all right.
So you're just driving around or taking the train from club to club and saying,
yeah, I'm broke, so I don't have.
Taking
the train. I wanted to.
So Staten Island, you're living the Staten Island life with no car?
Yeah, I gotta take the ferry.
Well, as you continue to make it, we're gonna get you hooked up with the vehicle somehow.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I'm not gonna give you a car.
Oh, okay. I thought you guys were gonna work together.
All right. So let's hit a little bit more on that. But before that, let's talk a little bit more about your material. So we talked earlier about how you sort of personalize it and how that makes it funny because it's real.
Yeah.
So have you ever run into things when you're talking about things from your life that maybe your family or your friends aren't so happy that you're talking about, or is that not the case?
Well, I think the only person that would get upset with what I'm talking about is my mom. But luckily, she hasn't seen me in 4 years, so I'm getting away with everything. So.
Well, even when you were on TV, she had to see that.
She saw that, but luckily they cut out what I said about her, so that was a good little save.
What do you think her reaction would be if she saw you, talking smack?
She'd be. I don't know. She would understand. She'd be like, listen, that's what you have to do. But she'd probably be like, oh, why are you talking about me like that? It's wrong. That's what you get. You're bad and you're hanging out with those negros. Because you know how we my mom finds any reason to blame black people for how my life turned out. So that's what she would say.
like a good Latina, as you like to say. All right. So talk to me then, Crystian, as you know, have been working through and going from club to club, trying to, get some stage time, what it's like to, me Googling your name now and being able to see, a Last Comic Standing clip where Roseanne Barr and Norm Macdonald and Keenan Ivory Wayans are, saying nice things about you, and another clip where Bobcat Goldthwait is introducing you at, Gotham Comedy Club, like these comedy masters looking at you and saying, yeah, you're one of us. How does that feel, man?
I my pants, man. Like there's no other way to put that. It's surreal, because these people you grow up watching, like Keenan, Living Color and stuff like that, and Bobcat Goldthwait, you've seen all these guys on TV. So you just try to like take it and then throw it over your shoulder, like appreciate it, and then like, cause there's some people that take that and be like, I'm the man. You heard what Norm Macdonald said. I'm the. But you can't do that. You can't. Right. You just have to be humble about it, I guess.
And do you think your set or has changed based after that experience and after hearing their feedback?
Yeah, especially with Keenan, because they all had good stuff to say. But Keenan, I feel like he was more critical about everything, which is you need to hear the bad stuff because that'll make you get better. Yeah. So he was like, you have to stop being long-winded, and if you're gonna do a character, do the voice. So if they have accents, do the accents. And that's helped tremendously. So they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. So what do you think is next for you, man? What are the next steps?
Just trying to get a car, really. Get a car, get a nice not a nice apartment. It could be a small, but just trying to be an adult.
Right.
And trying to make comedy help me be an adult. That's all I'm trying to do.
The basic stuff.
The basics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you currently in a relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah.
You are. Okay. And how does your comedy affect that?
It affects it in a horrible way.
Yeah. How so?
Cause my girl supports me, but like she gets, cause it's like she wants to spend time. Plus, every girl, when you're out doing stuff like this, thinks that you're just having sex with a bunch of women. Like that's the first thing.
Right,
you can give them like concrete evidence, pictures, but they're gonna think that you're doing that. So.
She doesn't come out to the club with you?
Yeah, she does.
All right, but not all the time, I'm assuming.
No, that's when it's bad. Right. That's when it's bad.
When she doesn't make it, then you get you don't have to do the check-in phone calls or something like that.
Yeah, man. And then it's like you didn't call me when you get home. Whoa, so you were with? That's who you were with. So
all right.
I probably hear something about this. Like Christina, huh? Like there's gonna be a very Christina. I don't
That's
really.
how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So actually, as we wrap up now, I just want to ask you, a question that we like to ask. Of course, you've already, sort of motivated me to get on stage and try it out. But is it something for somebody, a young comic coming up? What would you say to them? Would you, say based on your experiences, go for it?
No, but only if you have the will for it, go for it. Because there's a lot of, it's great, the payoff's great, but there's a lot of backstabbery, there's a lot of funny people, and not in a good way. It's a lot of stuff you have to deal with. You deal with making that career jump. It has to be something you have to be mentally prepared for, because it's scary. It's a scary world.
Right.
So, well, if you have that, then go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
All right. I think that's a perfect way to end it, man. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Thank you, man.
All right. So that'll do it. We've run out of time, as always. Thanks to Crystian for sharing his life and art with us, and thanks to all of you for joining us today. We want to encourage you to connect with us on social media. Visit us on Facebook and YouTube at A Life in Art, and Instagram and Twitter at A Life in Art TV. We'll be back with more stories from emerging artists when we return with A Life in Art.